Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink, it's time for some Path of Exile discussion. One thing you've probably found if you've been playing since patch 3.12 and the Heist League is that it's not that rare to get two implicit corrupted rare items dropping these days. Mostly rings, and that's what we're going to be focusing on today. These are generally pretty bad. The reason for that is that they have no bias towards having good mods, and whilst they can have two very good implicits on them, that doesn't actually benefit you in much at all unless the explicit mods on the item are good as well. So I have been going around trade sniping, picking up items that have got two amazing implicits on them. Bleeding cannot be inflicted on you. Double stat increases. All sorts of good stuff like this, but that aren't currently a good package. Now when you use a Recombinator, it seems like there's a 50-50 chance that it keeps the configuration of the item on the left. So by configuration, I mean influence type, I mean corruption status, I mean is the item synthesized or not, and a few other things like that. There's also a 50-50 chance that it inherits the status of the item on the right. And this creates some interesting possibilities. What if we were to merge an item like this, bleeding cannot be inflicted on you, strength and intelligence implicit, with something that was a little bit more useful as an item? Well, maybe we could get something that ends up as a really good package. It seems like there's about a 50-50 chance that you keep any given mod between the input items, and so for that reason, I've just made items that have a couple of good mods on them. They're not necessarily all that good, these rings that I'm using here, but all of them have a charge replenish mod, like +1 minimum endurance charges 3% chance to gain an endurance charge on kill. And also all of them have the Elreon crafted mod. Now you normally can't get that in conjunction with corrupted implicits unless you two implicit corrupt at Elva's Temple, but this allows a way to circumvent that. Lastly though, the main reason we're doing this is of course that jewelry recombinators have a very slim chance of providing an extra power charge or endurance charge or frenzy charge, an extra maximum charge. So we're going to have a bit of an experiment with this, see how we go. Here we are merging bleeding can't be inflicted on you and double stats with an item that's a little bit more compelling to use in its current form, and we're going to see what we get. Grim Grip has inherited the corrupted status and has inherited the Elreon mod, but not really much else. This isn't currently good. In fact, this is something that we can put back in the left pile as something that we're quite happy to roll over and make a second attempt with, because it just doesn't have good explicit mods at the moment. In fact, it's actually probably slightly worse than what we put in originally, but that's the thing with this. We're chasing the miracle results. We're not necessarily chasing the amazing ones. Now here you'll see that we have lost the corrupted status. So this item is actually pretty much useless now. So that's a fail. That's all right. This is a numbers game. We are trying to hit something great and we have absolutely no guarantee of getting there. This one just has a lot of mods on it rather than being rather than any of them being the Elreon mod. That's okay. We've kept the bleed immunity, we've kept the malevolence, and we've kept the endurance charge mod. Okay, this feels like it's almost good enough to maybe for someone to want to use. We're going to keep that aside as an item with potential. It's not a fantastic hit, but what we're hoping to see again is maximum charges. That would be the thing that is the absolutely staggering hit. Anti-bleed and grace effect, and we will combine that with this mod, with this item. We've kept the corrupted status. Non-channeling has been kept with it. And yeah, that feels like it's good enough maybe for someone to use. Bleed immunity is really good. If you're using grace, then this is a great ring. Honestly, I feel like that's not a massive hit, but it's a solid outcome without being an amazing one. What is that doing there? Anyways, we'll throw it in if we run out of better ones. Can't be ignited and hatred effect. I just basically went down a trade list, everything that had hatred 20% and also a second mod on it, a second implicit, and that was 15C or less I bought. All right, we've kept the good implicits. And we lost everything else. So that one's trash. That one's going straight back in because it did keep at least the cannot be ignited and the other stuff on it. Let's give this one a shot and see if we can get anything better this time. Again, we're hoping to see that miracle result. That looks like it might be a special result there. That's come up as electrifyingly bright. It doesn't seem like it's a special result. May have had something special happen, but not anything really obvious. This is still, this is at the lower end of usable, I think. Cannot be ignited is very solid. Hatred effect And it's got a couple other things on it. We're going to keep that one aside as not as a jackpot, but as an okay result. And we will try this combination here. Oh no, it looks like that was just the normal effect. Kept the corruption mods. Kept the frenzy mod, but nothing else. Unfortunately, this one's just going straight back into the grinder, as it has not succeeded in what we're trying to do. So we'll throw that in conjunction with endurance charge mod. Yeah, it's much brighter than I was expecting there. Okay, so we've got the endurance charge mod, and oh, unfortunately, we've only gone to 3 mods here. That's a brick, even though it's got a good mod on it. It's not good enough, I don't think. Oh, this is the one that has non-channeling skills baked in. That's right. I knew I had one that had that, because I had so much trouble getting that mod this time. Yeah, that could conceivably be used in the short term by me. It's not ideal, but it's sort of got something okay on it. We're running out of the charge mods at the moment, and we might need to create some more items at some point to use in this. But again, we're still looking for those rare outcomes, those ultra rare outcomes where you get a special mod. Not again, we haven't got it here, but again, we've got non-channeling skills, reduced cost, endurance charge generation, hatred effect, and cannot be ignited. This is a real ring. Like, that's something that someone could easily use. And here we've got hatred and poison immunity with something else that's a little bit on the weaker end, but we'll give it a shot and see what we get. Kept the Val implicits, kept the mana stuff, and that looks like mostly a miss. All right, at this point, I'm going to source more rings to use on the right-hand side. Okay, so now we're back to it, and we've got a bunch of new rings that have at least something useful on them. So their explicits are not absolutely horrible, and this one was a fail, so we are going to recombinate over it and see if we can get anything better. We've kept the good implicits again. Big life. Broadly speaking, this feels okay. This has got a number of good mods on it, and we're going to keep it. It's at the lower end of keepable, but it is definitely a keeper. Bleed immunity and zealotry is just genuinely really amazing. We're definitely going to try for this one and hope. Kept the good mods. Seem to be keeping them a lot. A very large amount of the time. Does not feel like it's 50-50. And that is kept the life, but nothing else. We're going to re-roll. We're going to redo that one. This one's got damage per frenzy charge on it, which is an essence mod. That would have dropped like that. I wouldn't have used that mod on it. Lost everything on that, unfortunately. Except for the implicits, of course. This one couldn't roll the Elreon mod, just due to being prefix locked. Okay, this one has lost its implicits. Hasn't been happening much there. And it's lost everything. That one's rubbish. And we'll go hatred effect. This one's gone completely useless, and actually it doesn't even have any merit as a thing to put back into the blender. This one has a bit more potential. This right ring is quite solid. If we lost the implicits, so that's going to be rubbish as well. Oh well. Does have some merit as a reinsert for the right hand side though. Lost the good implicits again. Maybe it is 50-50. Doesn't really even have value as an insert now. So we kept the good implicits. Okay, no special results yet, and this one does not feel good enough to use yet, so we'll give it one more shot. And what are we going to merge that with? What's got good mods on it? You've got at least one good mod on you, you'll do. We lost the good implicits, so I think this one's over as well. And we will go and grab, this is actually the best of the implicits that we have, so we will go and grab a few more Recombinators and give it another shot. Even if we fail at this, there's been not been an expensive experiment. It's, you know, everything's been reasonably cheap in terms of the stuff that we've fed in. We lost the good implicits. Okay, so at this point we have had a couple outcomes that aren't terrible, and we've got the Hatred Can't Be Poisoned, Big Life, and Anti-Shock. We've got Cannot Be Ignited, Hatred, Channeling Skills, Endurance Charge Generation, but with nothing else on it. These are probably two of the better ones. Double Aura Effect with not that much else on it. This one is not much else on it again, but with Can't Be Ignited and Hatred. Anti-Bleed, Grace. This is, again, one of the better ones, without being amazing. And this one here was Endurance Charge Generation, Anti-Bleed, Malevolence, and that's really about it. So all of these are sort of okay, but nothing is truly amazing. I do think this has potential, though. What you're hoping for here is that rare outcome. If you get that rare outcome where you get one of the charge mods, +1 max charge, then you have something truly amazing. You're going to have something that's two-implicit corrupted, that's probably got a useful benchcraft on it, and that has very good corrupts on it, as well as having the additional charge. And that's really what we're going for. I'm going to leave it there. May your Recombinators have interesting results. May your rare monsters have interesting mods. And hopefully next time I give this a shot, we'll have a bit more luck.